Bitcoin's RSI has just dropped to 55, and right now that could mean one of three things in the future. One scenario is where we see Bitcoin crash all the way down to $30,000. Another scenario could be a setup for a massive bull run, and the last one could change the future on how Bitcoin cycles are gonna play out. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to watch, where the smart money might move, and what price levels to look out for in the future for potential opportunities. So let's break it down. The first possibility is a classic bear market, the type that terrifies retail investors and shakes up the whole market. If this scenario plays out, we could see a 50% drop or more to the downside, which could mean Bitcoin could go all the way down to $30,000 if we look at past cycles. These historical corrections happen when retail investors buy near the top. They basically get caught up in the hype and start to panic when the market drops, and that creates a selling pressure for over a year. So basically that's what creates a bear market. But here's the thing that is different about this cycle. In previous cycles we have had a euphoria phase where the RSI has gone all the way up to 90 plus. But this cycle we have only gone a little bit into the 70s, nowhere near the 90s like we have seen in other cycles. If we look at the social metric like YouTube subscribers, views, X activity and so on, we are nowhere near the levels that we were at in 2021. That tells us that the retail frenzy isn't fueling the markets yet. So yeah, a bear market is definitely possible, but without strong retail pressure, it might not be as brutal as we have seen in other cycles. The markets might still correct, but the magnitude is going to be significantly smaller. This is where watching the key levels of support is critical. The second scenario looks a lot like 2019. Back then, the RSI only reached about 70, no extreme euphoria, no retail mania. After that, Bitcoin had a correction for a period of time. Bitcoin pulled back slightly before the real bull market began. This is also a scenario that could be happening right now. I know that the RSI peaks we have had in 2025 are a bit higher than what we have seen in 2019, but these spikes are likely due because of the ETF hype and Trump winning the election basically. Also, QT ended in 2019 and it just recently ended here in 2025. That tends to create favorable conditions for the crypto market. Another important factor is the potential new Fed chair next year. The odds are favoring Kevin Hassett, who is a bit more dovish than the current Fed. A more dovish Fed is really good for markets basically. So basically for this scenario, we could see a pullback for a period of time before we see the real bull market begin. So the key takeaway here is to be patient. Don't panic during small dips. These could be early opportunities before the real bull market kicks in. The third scenario is that the cycle is fundamentally different from now on. Institutional investors now dominate a bigger part of Bitcoin's share. Unlike retail investors, they don't chase hype. They carefully manage their exposure to Bitcoin by diversifying their investments. Here's how it works basically. Imagine an institution that targets 2% of their portfolio to be in Bitcoin. If Bitcoin rises a lot, that could mean it's now worth 3 or 4% of their portfolio. So they're basically forced to sell to rebalance their investments. And the same thing the other way around. If Bitcoin drops, they buy to maintain that 2%. These activities keeps Bitcoin in a tighter range for its RSI, preventing the extreme highs and the extreme lows we have seen in previous cycles. Looking at the longer term power law chart, Bitcoin hasn't even touched the linear regression fill line or the purple resistance line like previous cycles. Instead, it looks more likely to test the support line first, which is currently sitting at around 65 to 70k. This scenario could represent a new type of cycle, a market that is more dominated by institutional investors. So it's going to be more stable, less volatility and so on, basically more like the other markets. Also right now, it seems like Bitcoin is getting a relief rally. And if you compare the charts to 2021 and overlay them, they look almost identical. Bitcoin is currently bouncing off the 100-day moving average, which of course has historically acted as key support. Here's what that means. We could see a lower high form before a further drop to the downside. But again, that critical support level at $65,000 to $70,000, it could mark a bottom and a major buying opportunity. Even though historically bear markets last around 1 year, this one might not be as severe due to institutional stabilization and key support levels. Another factor to consider, Bitcoin's electricity cost. Historically, Bitcoin has never fallen below this level, which is currently sitting at $71,000. This adds another key layer of support to watch out for. So even if we see a dip, we are not starting from zero. Key metrics are providing strong floors for the price. Let's break down why RSI is so important. RSI, or the Relative Strength Index, measures the momentum of the market basically. When the RSI goes above 70, that means that it is in the overbought zone, which it has recently been. And when it starts to drop, that means that the momentum is slowing down. And right now we are currently around the 50s. We are basically in natural territory, so it could go either way. Though where I think we are right now, we are likely gonna see the RSI cool off more to the downside. And if it goes down to 30, that basically means that the asset is now oversold. That's why understanding the RSI, these moving averages and key support levels is super important. And right now for the RSI, we are in the natural zone, which doesn't mean safe. It more so means that the market is deciding its next move. So let's do a recap of these three scenarios. The first one was a classic bear market, possible but retail frenzy isn't strong yet, could drop over 50%. Scenario number 2, 2019-like pattern, small pullback may set up a bigger bull run, watch the RSI and these key support levels. Scenario number 3, different this time, institutional stabilize the markets, keeping RSI normal and prices range bound. The key levels I'm gonna be watching is around $65,000 to $71,000. Again, because of the key support levels we talked about in this video. Ask yourself, which scenario makes the most sense right now? Comment down below, I read every single comment and love to hear from you guys. Bitcoin is unpredictable, but history gives us clues. Are we heading for a big drop or setting up for a big bull market? Or is this time completely different? No one knows. So watching these key levels, these patterns and the institutional behavior gives you the edge. Even if one of these scenarios you are expecting to play out doesn't play out, being prepared ensures you don't miss the next opportunity. And remember, opportunities are never lost. Someone will take the one you miss. So that's it for today's video. I hope it was helpful. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification button. And comment down below what you think could play out in the future. Again, I'd love to hear from you guys. Crypto is unpredictable, but with a good plan, the right mindset, that is going to get you far. I'll see you guys in the next one.